We're going live. Okay, I am live. I am live. I like it. Okay, this is good. Now let's see something here. I'm gonna turn that up all the way. Boom, there we go. Nice and bright so I can see myself. All righty. Sunday, fun day. Let's take a quick peek and see what is going on in the world of silver. Silver is down by 36 cents. I can live with that. I can live with that. And by the way, these are real time. Yep. I'm one of those professionals who pays for real time, not delayed. Delayed shit will get your ass kicked every time. If you're doing a lot of trading. If you're not doing a lot of trading, don't bother. What's happening there, Sal? So, okay, gold's hanging in there at 47. Silver's hanging in there at 75 and change. Plus $10 in real terms. 15 if you're in China. Shanghai's got about a 15 to 20% kicker on top of the spot price because, well, they're actually having to really buy real stuff. You see, the spot price now means nothing. Sorry, kids. Spot price is just wishful thinking. It really is. Spot price is what the COMEX says it's worth, but is that really what it's worth? Well, no. It's worth what you're willing to pay for it, and nobody buys it at spot. Right now, APMEX is spot plus 10. Well, thanks, Paul. I appreciate that, man. I work hard at doing homework. Now, I'm going to say a couple things tonight that you won't hear anywhere else, period. Anywhere in the world. I'll wait till I get some people on here because when I say this, it's going to cause a little bit of a reaction. Maybe a little, kerfuffle. But here's good news. Don't worry about Trump. He's perfectly safe. Last night's entertainment was completely and utterly 1,000% staged. Now, why? Well, because there's been a lot of pushback on the ballroom that he's building over, on top of, around, etc., the White House. He's basically doing what Trump's famous for, which is overdoing something to the extent that it makes it look like a Saudi Arabian prince did it. Hence the gold toilets. But what he's doing with the ballroom, tearing down the West Wing, etc. I am awesome today. Tearing down the Western Wing, etc. It's it's embarrassing because that ballroom is not neoclassical. It is not. It is not. It's just garbage. It's just ugly. It's just this huge square ugly thing. Well, you better be praying for Trump too, because man, this guy's I'm pretty sure he's starting to really actually lose it. I think the stress is getting to him. Stress is a killer, no question about it. Stress is the number one killer, actually. Yep, you're gonna need some tinfoil for a couple of my ideas. So the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter. There's no way that was going to happen. There's no way that was going to work. And anybody with any common sense, especially a teacher who's supposed to be so intelligent and radicalized. Yeah, that's silly. So, but it is a great advertisement, and Trump used it as such. Hey, look, the left is terrible. And by the way, I need that ballroom. Like, stat. I need that ballroom. That ballroom is really important. Did you see what almost happened? Did you see that? Look, did you see what happened here? We need that ballroom right away. Great advertisement. Oh yeah, all my teachers in high school were California teachers, and yeah, I don't believe it was a hoax. I believe it was a psyop. It's designed to do several things at once. Um, yeah, and we need that ballroom yesterday because clearly, as he said, that ballroom is it's much more secure. There's national security stuff we can't talk about, but it's the most secure thing ever. You realize, of course, that we can see it being built. We can watch it being built. So there's nothing special about it. We're watching the drywall go up. We're watching it. I mean, it's a public building. Everybody's watching it. It's not like, oh yeah, lead lined walls. This is where everybody in Washington's going to go if the bomb gets dropped because it's the safest thing. No, it's just a building. So whatever. That whole thing. I'm just every time I see something like that now, I think Butler, Pennsylvania, Charlie Kirk, over and over. It's all the same shit. It's all the same shit. Same thing over and over and over. It's a lone gunman, radicalized by the internet, blah, 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 blah. Not buying it. I'm not buying it anymore. I can't. Common sense dictates that when you have all of these people that are lone gunmen, that acted alone, that were radicalized, blah, blah, at some point, you just go, no, thanks. It's not going to happen, man. He destroyed history, and that's just the way it is. So, oh, by the way, another one. If you believe it, was it staged? In a sense, yeah. I don't think it was. There are some guys. There are some guys in the Secret Service. There are some guys that were on duty there that have absolutely nothing to do with staging it. Their job was to smoke this guy, and unfortunately, it didn't work that way. He's going to be alive. So now we got another Tyler Robinson issue on our hands where somebody's going to have to get this guy. They're going to have to unalive him because God forbid he starts talking and says some shit like, I don't know how I got there. I don't remember anything. Yeah, I'm a teacher and I don't like Trump much, but I got a girlfriend and this and that, and I got a lot of stuff going on in my life. And no, I would never do something stupid like that. No, of course not. That's my point. I don't think that the injuries are faked. I think that he may have actually done exactly what they said. He may have run in there with a shotgun and decided that he was going to try and kill the president. But I don't think it's what it looks like. You have to go back in time, first of all. If you don't understand what MK Ultra is, not what it was, but what it has morphed into over the last 60 years, you don't understand what's going on in the world. You don't understand how many truly Manchurian candidates there are out in the world. It was science fiction at first, but as time has gone on, it's not science fiction anymore. There are records from Jolly West, Dr. Joylyn West at UCLA, the Neuropsychiatric Institute at UCLA, back and forth to Dr. Sidney Gottlieb saying, I did it. We've done it. We have completed the mission. which is to erase someone's actual memories of their true life and implant a false narrative that they believe is true. So when you bring them out of the LSD and out of the hypnotherapy that they're under, they believe that it's 1972. They don't know that it's 2026 because that's what they've been programmed to believe. You can make them believe that it's, the year 2092. You can make them believe that they are from an Asian kid from Thailand when clearly they're 6'5" and blonde hair and blue eyes and they're from Norway. But they don't know that. As long as you don't show them a mirror, they will continue to believe without any question. These are the types of things that can be done to humans now. Period. It's not, we can't argue about it anymore because one of two things is true. Either A, you know that the human mind can be manipulated to the point where it has absolutely no concept of who or what or where it is and at what time, or B, you haven't studied. Well, now, Luxter, let's not go off the deep end here. You can get all philosophical about the existential meaning, blah, blah, whatever. My point is, you could take a totally normal guy who's a truck driver who doesn't believe in Buddhism, New Age bullshit. That's what he would call it. Is a good, solid Christian man who eats squirrel on Tuesday night because that's just squirrel tacos, man. Taco Tuesday. This guy can literally be completely and utterly altered mentally to believe something that is not true at all. He can be given an entire life and he doesn't know that it's not true. This is my point. So is this guy, this shooter, is he the real shooter? Is he actually who we think he is? I don't know. The fact that he's from California. Now, my dad worked at the Neuropsychiatric Institute of UCLA for the CIA. I used to go there when I was a kid all the fucking time. That's where I spent most of my afternoons after school. Dr. Jolly West was my doctor when I was a kid. So this isn't hypothetical stuff. This isn't stuff that I'm guessing about. Well, Butler, Pennsylvania, something's very wrong there. Something is very wrong there. Okay? When I say something is very wrong, it can't be more wrong than Butler, Pennsylvania. Nothing about that makes sense. Absolutely nothing about that makes sense. You have the Secret Service fighting with the police department for a week, for 10 days leading up to that, about where, when, how, what, the structure. Radios weren't all connected like they always have to be. It was just a complete, in the Marine Corps, we would call this a classic cluster fuck. And that was exactly what Butler, Pennsylvania was. But layer that on top of the fact that even a clusterfuck does not end with some kid who has no social media presence whatsoever, but then turns out he's got a very, very solid footprint. But then turns out that his mom and dad are both psychotherapists. But then it turns out that he actually has several phones. Why do you need several cell phones when you're just the average run-of-the-mill lone gunman, crazy, straight A student that everybody said was just an average run-of-the-mill nice kid, just a good kid? Who'd he go shooting with? He was shooting all the time. Did he go shooting by himself? I don't know. Look, I'm not an investigator, but I can tell you this. I watched the movie Jack fucking Reacher from my patio into my neighbor's patio because I'm tall. I can do that. He's a molecular biologist at ASU, and he says, "Yeah, I'm going to go do some studying, some investigating into that 9/11 shit." And I said, "What 9/11 shit?" And he said, the stuff that happened on 9/11. And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Dude, what do you think happened on 9/11?" And I said, "Well, some Middle Eastern terrorists hijacked some airplanes. They ran them into the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and that's it. There's one that crashed in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, ran into the ground." And he goes, "Is that really what you think happened?" And I said, "Well, yeah, why?" And he goes, have you not looked into any of the theories about why that's not true?" And I said, "No, what do you mean, what theories? What theories? Like, what theories are you talking about?" And he goes, "Well, like the Pentagon." I said, "Well, no, I mean, I just know that the Pentagon got hit by 757. He goes, "Oh, you know what airplane?" I said, "Well, yeah, I grew up hanging over airplane, hangars, and I would sit at the end of the runway with my dad watching commercial jets fly in and land right over our heads while we were talking. It was pretty cool, actually." And he goes, "Okay, so you know a lot about airplanes?" I said, "Yeah, tons." And he goes, "Okay, well, so you know that what the wingspan is?" I said, "It's like 160, 180 feet, right in there." And he goes, "Yeah, that's exactly right." He goes, "Do you know how far apart the engines are?" And I said, "Well, they're outboard, but they're not too far outboard. So I'm going to guess 60 feet." And he goes, "Damn, you do know airplanes." He goes, "You wouldn't happen to know what they are?" And I said, "I'm pretty sure they're GE turbofans, 10,000 pounds apiece, made of titanium, aluminum. There's some hardened steel in them, for bearings and whatnot." And he goes, "Huh, okay. So let me ask you this. If you flew one into the side of the Pentagon at, say, 3, 4, 500 miles an hour, whatever it was, how big a hole do you think that would make?" And I said, "Well, it'd make a huge hole because the outboard motors would hit right after the nose hit. So the nose hits, the outboard engines hit 60 feet apart, and then the rest of the airplane goes, it would be a mess." And he goes, "So why is there only a 16-foot wide hole in the Pentagon?" And I said, "What?" He goes, the hole in the Pentagon is 16 feet wide." And I said, "That's impossible. Where'd the engines go?" And he said, "Well, the official story is that the wings folded back as it hit, and they went through the 16-foot hole." And I said, "That's completely impossible. Momentum would have meant that 10,000-pound engines kept going forward. They would have punched two holes 60 feet apart, and I'm sure that the weight of the fuselage would have absolutely obliterated it, and then it would have had a huge fuel burst like the World Trade Center." And he said, "Yeah, you should go upstairs and Google Pentagon 9/11." So no, Greg, you did not see engines. Oh, okay. I was going to say, because there were no engines there, period. You need to Google that before you say you saw them. Nobody saw them. No one saw them. The only thing that was ever shown on television was one turbo fan, which, by the way, doesn't match a 757. No 757 ever came with that style of engine that they got that turbofan off of. So I'm just saying, it's pretty easy. So I went upstairs and I looked, and I saw that on the second floor, there were books sitting on desks with the pages flapping in the wind. You could see the pages flapping. Now, if 20, 30,000 pounds of airplane fuel, of JP5 or whatever they're running. It's basically kerosene, had burned at just over 1,000 degrees. I think it's like 1,100 degrees. I don't think there would have been a lot of papers laying around. I don't think there would have been a lot of books right where it hit. Everything all the way through the building would have been completely and totally engulfed in 1,000-degree hot flames. Temperature at which airplane fuel burns, jet fuel. Roughly 800 to 1,500 degrees. 2,700 degrees, really? That's a little bit of an exaggeration, huh? See, that's the problem with arguing with me, is I don't mind checking. And I don't mind saying I'm wrong if I'm wrong. Pentagon gas station has never, ever released any of the videos or photographs. No one has ever released any of the videotapes, like the Holiday Inn across the road. No one's ever seen it. No one has ever seen any of those videotapes. Oh, wait, we just got more bullshit. Let's see. Is optimized temperature within a running engine, not an open fire? Let's see. Engine combustion temperature. Okay, so open air burn temp, which would be the Pentagon, that would be 800 to 1,500. So 800 to 1,500, that's 700. So let's go 350 is a medium as an average. So we can say that 1,100. Now, what did I say? I was way off. I said 1,000. 8K each, 8,000 pounds. Oh, I see. So that would fold up and fit through a 16-foot hole. See, these idiot things like, oh, hey, man, those engines couldn't weigh more than 8,000 pounds. You said 10,000 pounds. I said that's what I thought they weighed. I was just talking off the top of my head when he asked me what I knew about the Pentagon. I still, to this day, don't know exactly what they weigh, but I can tell you this. If you believe that the nose of that airplane hit the side of a building and then the wings automatically folded back instantaneously so that the engines didn't hit the sides of the building, Forrest Gump could be your college professor. That's just a fact. I mean, it doesn't matter what else you say at this point. That's just idiotic. Let's see. So what do I think hit it? Well, I know exactly what hit it, a missile. Yeah, Kevin, absolutely. I mean, everybody that ran outside said they smelled cordite. I was a Marine. I know what cordite smells like, that acrid smell. Yeah, it was a missile. Now, the question is, do you believe in coincidences? Because here's the coincidence of all coincidences. Was it Charles Goodrich? Let me see. Who was flying the 757 that hit the Pentagon on 9/11? Charles, what was his name? Oh, okay. No, I don't mean the bullshit version that we're supposed to believe. They say Hani Hanjour, the guy who couldn't fly a fucking Cessna. Let's ask this way. Who was the American Airlines pilot that was supposed to be controlling the airplane that hit the Pentagon on 9/11? Charles. Charles Burlingame. That's what it was. Okay, Charles Burlingame. Now, here's an interesting thing about Captain Burlingame. Captain Burlingame worked at the Pentagon. Yeah, he worked at the Pentagon. Where he died? Yeah, that's where he worked. He actually came up with the idea of a war game scenario where terrorist hijackers fly a 757 into the side of the Pentagon. I'm not making this up. You can verify this. And they said, no, that's too crazy. They didn't go with his war game, even though he made a formal request to do the war game. And audio? No, there's no audio. No, that's the audio that you're probably thinking of is the one from Pennsylvania where the guy's on the cell phone. And he's directly above the cell phone towers where cell phones don't work because they're directional. I know. I called the chief operations officer of a cellular telephone company, and I said, "Listen, if I were at say 29,000 feet and I were out over the country somewhere in Pennsylvania, would my cell phone work?" And he said, "No, of course not." And I said, "How did the guy in the American Airlines plane, how did he make a phone, or United Airlines plane, how did he make a phone call to his wife before they went and tackled the guys and the airplane crashed and all that?" And he said, what do you mean? I said, well, if they were, say, 30,000 feet directly above a cell phone tower, and he goes, no, if they were directly above one, it absolutely wouldn't work. And I said, well, what if they were between them? And he said, no, they're directional. They point out, not up. And I said, oh, yeah, Wi-Fi needs to connect to something. Jesus Christ. So my point is that he literally picked up his cell phone and called his wife. Now, how do you do that? Remember, this is 2001. Well, everybody's got their own opinion, but I can tell you this. Airplanes did not have Wi-Fi in 2001, did they? You didn't just jump on an airplane and use Wi-Fi, did you? You should check that. By the way, the coroner for Shanksville, Pennsylvania, said that it was no longer an active crime scene in the sense of murder because, as he put it, there wasn't a single body or a single drop of blood. That's weird. Well, wait a minute. There wasn't a single drop of blood anywhere? Like, weren't there like 100 people on board? Well, where'd the 100 people go? I mean, come on, guys. Let's be honest with ourselves here. It may not have been pretty, but there should have been some parts. Lots. So, something's wrong. Here's my point. If after hearing everything that you've heard about 9/11, after knowing all of the things about 9/11 that are completely and utterly impossible, simply not believable, then take that to the next step. Next step was what? Well, let's invade Afghanistan. Okay. If that's where the son of a bitch is hiding, let's go. All right, we're on it. Hey, let's invade Iraq too. Wait, what? Why are we doing? Wait, I thought he's in Afghanistan, right? Yeah. Okay, but what? Wait, what about, why are we going into Iraq? It's a totally different, did you fuck up the memo this morning or something? Why are we doing that? No, it's Afghanistan. No, it's Iraq too. Why is that? Because they have weapons of mass destruction, but the CIA says they don't. No, actually, the CIA says they do now, as of yesterday. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll believe the government again now. Okay. So what was the next lie after Iraq and weapons of mass destruction? Was there another lie after that? Because I'm pretty sure there was always another lie after that. But the big ones, I mean, the ones that are just obviously idiotically obvious. Let's not get into the really like nitpicky ones, Let's just talk about the ones that were clearly bullshit. And in retrospect, they're clearly bullshit. And the reason that they're becoming more and more obvious and more in your face, fuck you, if you don't believe us, kiss our ass, is because the American people have no balls. A bunch of feckless, pusillanimous pussies who don't do anything. So why not slap them around? Why not put them in their place when they talk too much? What are you going to do about it? That's the attitude that the government has. Now, if you're a conservative, you're already worried about the government spying on you. If you're a Democrat, you already know that they're spying on you. If you're a conservative, you know they're trying to take away your rights. If you're a Democrat, you know they're already trying to take away your rights. Democrats don't want a central bank digital currency because they know that the central bank's a bunch of bullshit. Republicans feel the same way. So what's this invisible force field between these two parties? It's funny. I mean, to me, it's funny because people are like, oh, you must be a Democrat, what you just said. No. Oh, you're MAGA based on what you just said. No. If you watch my live streams, you'll see that I'm neither. No, CBDC is unquestionably coming. There's no probably about it. We will have a CBDC probably by the end of this year, but we will absolutely 100% guaranteed have a central bank digital currency. And you will not spend money on anything you're not allowed to, period. It's coming. Like, it's coming. I'm telling you right now, I watch this shit all the time. And what Trump said about no CBDC was a complete and utter lie. The Housing Act that they just passed, what does the Housing Act have to do with a CBDC? Nothing. Housing over here, central bank digital currency over here. Yep, it was in that Housing Act. Well, what was it? It said that we'll never have a retail central bank digital currency. Oh, okay, but what about wholesale central bank digital currency? Oh yeah, that's coming. Says so in the bill. Wait. Okay, so hold on. Can we back up? Well, there's not cash anymore, Big J. Duh. You're not listening. There will be no cash. If you have cash, look, you hold this up in front of a guy in a liquor store and he says, sorry, man, I'd love to sell you some gum, but what the fuck am I going to do with that? Well, give it to somebody. They won't take it. It's illegal, dummy. That's what they're going to say. Dude, what the fuck are you carrying these for? These became valueless 6 months ago. They said so. Don't you watch the news? That's how it works. Look, when was the last time you walked in and said, hey, I'll tell you your own condition here, kids. Mike Huckabee is the most disgusting fake Christian I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there are a lot of people that are up there with him. Don't get me wrong, he's not alone. But he is absolutely amazing. Well, we didn't hang him. The Iraqis did. Batman, you're an idiot. If you knew what my politics were, you'd punch yourself in the face as hard as you could right now. And you would deserve it. So, but I'm not a single celled tribal organism like you are. I have zero receipts and facts. You clearly weren't on here when I Googled all the shit I was talking about, and it turned out I was right. Uh-oh. I just got restricted for bullying and harassment. Okay, so you guys are totally right. I don't know anything, and I just made all that up. And by the way, I also control the algorithm at Google. That's how when I Google stuff, it all agrees with me. And if you Google it, it'll agree with me too. But that's not because you're wrong. It's just because I'm in charge. I I I only bully because I love. Now, the good news is this is nothing. I was in the Marine Corps. So if you said something that was that completely, can't use the R word here, but somebody would literally slap you in the head for it because you can't get away with saying stuff that is just like zero common sense, no common sense at all. You can't do that because what happens is somebody goes, dude, you're full of shit. And if you say, no, man, seriously, they're going to press you on it. They're going to find out if you're just making shit up. And if you are, somebody's going to slap you in the head for it, at least. Um, yeah, let's mention the TikTok shop because I've never gone to the TikTok shop and been disappointed. Every scam I've ever lost money on was fun. Fun, I tell you, a great time, especially when it comes to precious metals, which obviously I sell precious metals like this beauty right here, this little coin right here that's quadruple nine fine. Some are triple nine fine, some are quadruple nine fine. If it's a quadruple nine fine, that means it's 1/100th of an ounce more pure. So like 20 cents more. But well, Samuel, it is this one is actually for sale. This one's odd because it is actually a coin that is it's got Queen Elizabeth on it. Back when we had a proper dignitary in the monarchy. Look, I'm not saying Chuck's not an okay, he's an idiot. But you know what? The good news is he won't be there too much longer, and then we'll have, I think, a more serious monarch. Yeah, the kid's looking pretty serious, man. He's gonna clean house. I think he's gonna get shit straight. I don't know why I think that. It's just a look in his eye. It's just the way that he carries himself. He seems to be more serious. Who shot the missile? Well, is that like an I shot the sheriff reference, or I don't know? He is in Iowa. Not sure what that means exactly. Well, David Evans, I'm glad you found me too. I'm glad that fate brought us together. We found each other, brother. Pentagon. Oh, well, now that's a good question because obviously, when you look at who was celebrating across the river from the burning towers, and it was a bunch of Israelis dressed up as Arabs, by the way. That's not sus. And they were celebrating, having a great time, and then they got arrested. And then they admitted that yes, they were actually Mossad agents. And then they were like, "Oh, wait, how did you guys know to celebrate? Why did you think what was a celebration about? You're standing on the other side of the river. You're videotaping the twin towers after they've been hit, and you're dancing and singing. Well, what, what were you singing? I mean, look, don't get me wrong, guys. I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm the last guy to cast aspersions against anyone. Let's say that they were Haredis, and let's say because they're ultra orthodox, and they were singing "We've only just begun." Carpenters, classic Carpenters. Now, Karen Carpenter was one of the most underrated singers of the 70s, and I totally understand. I get that. But I don't know if that's what they were doing or not, because nobody's ever explained to me, what are you guys singing about? Those buildings could still be full of humans. Now, I know they're not full of Israelis because all of the Israelis, all of them, broke their leases and moved out 2 weeks prior. Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. So you've got that. There's just millions of things that are wrong. No, no, I definitely would not consider myself a Khazar. And the CIA released them. Oh, they censored that, Anubis. I'm going to go ahead and uncensor it because I don't see why they would do that. But there we go. Um, will there be a buyout? I assume you're talking about the CBDCs. You're talking about the fact that our currency is about to go away. I would say that right now, let me give you some numbers. Number one, only 18% of the total amount of American dollars in existence on Earth are in actual cash. We, as normal Americans in the country, only use cash about 3% of the time now. Nobody really uses cash anymore. I know it's really odd when I pull out a 20 or something to pay for something. People look at me like, why are you trying to keep that off the grid, bro? It's only a bagel. So it's really strange because it nobody uses cash. So the switch over will be very easy. Turn in your cash for X amount of credits in this digital dollar, and it could be just a 1-to-1. You give us the paper dollars, go to the bank, turn in your paper dollars, and they will credit your account with the same amount of digital dollars. They might do 2-for-1. Why would you do that? Because if you do 2-for-1, you immediately cut the deficit in half. Well, but just on paper, yeah, but just on paper, but that's good enough. It's a good start. Looks smaller. These are the types of things that these there are working papers right now, dozens of what we call white papers, theories about how to do this. There was a woman who was being considered as Treasury Secretary a few years ago. It's like 4 years ago now, 5 years ago, and she had written a paper in college talking about whether or not it would be a good idea to go back to a gold standard. She got passed over real fast. Nobody in the government wants to talk about that. And the reason is this. Let's say, I'll give you an example. Everybody says a CBDC is a horrible idea. It's the worst thing it's mark of the beast, right? It's the devil. Not necessarily. And here's why. If you had a central bank digital currency that was pegged to gold and silver, a gold and silver reserve, like, Fort Knox, and you showed exactly how much gold and silver you had, and therefore how much of this cryptocurrency, let's call it what it is, then that's it. We're good. It's just as good as having an American dollar that says silver certificate on it. Because a silver certificate, look, they have the silver to back this up. If they didn't have the silver to back this up, they couldn't print this. Oh, well, what does that mean exactly? That means that you can't just say, fuck it, print me another billion or trillion. Okay, so wait a minute. So if I have to have gold to back up my central bank digital currency, I either go out and find a lot more gold and then come up with a lot more of the digital dollars, or I don't get to make more digital dollars. Right. That's exactly right. Well, shit, that's brilliant. Because that means, wait, if I don't get to make more currency, if the currency is set at a certain amount, then that means that the currency has an absolute value. Uh-huh. So that means that if it's an absolute value and the baseline is here, always here, then everything else moves except it. Right. So if gasoline is way up here, it's really expensive, but then we come up with major refineries and oil tankers, and we start offshore drilling, which we never dreamed of doing before, then we would increase the amount of oil available in the world tremendously. Right. And this can't move. No. So this would actually come down in relation to this. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, son of a bitch. A silver dollar bought you 4 gallons of gas in 1960. I'm going to say that again. A silver dollar bought you 4 gallons of gas in 1960. Why? Well, because it was 25 cents a gallon. So you could buy 4 gallons with $1. Simple math, right? Awesome. Okay, so what would that silver dollar buy you now? Well, if you use the silver content, you're talking about something that's worth about $70. Well, wait a minute. Even at $7 a gallon, that's still 10 gallons that it would buy me today. Yeah, more like 13 or 14 gallons, but yeah. So wait a minute. That dollar bought me 4 gallons in 1960? 66 years ago, this only bought me 4 gallons, and now it'll buy me 14 gallons? Uh-huh. So the price of gas has actually gone, yeah, way, way, way down over the last 66 years. How is that possible? Well, like I said, offshore drilling. We found huge oil fields we didn't know we had. Places like Siberia, you can't pump oil out of permafrost. Oh, yes, you can. With American technology, we went over there, and all through the 70s and 80s, we helped them set it up. And now they're pumping like crazy. Offshore was huge. Think about this. Just one alone, just Prudhoe Bay in Alaska. 100-year supply. Boom. So the price of oil has gone down, but not compared to these. Because you can't just make these up out of thin air. But you can sure print up a lot of these. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to print them anymore, because now they're all digital. They're just ones and zeros in a computer at a bank. Oh, we're going to loan out some money. Well, do you actually have the money in your bank? No. So how are you going to loan it out? We're going to create it. We're going to create money by loaning it. Wait, I thought that the Treasury had to do this thing, and then the central bank had to do a thing, and then they all had to do this thing. No. That's not how money's created. Money's created by banks taking in $100 and then being able to loan out $1,000 based on that $100. How? Because they only have to keep a tiny portion of your money in the bank, about 5%, between 5 and 7%. And what do they do with the rest? Loan it out. Okay, but so if you loan that money out, then it goes, right? Well, no, not if I loan it to somebody who's using my bank. Okay, but then they put the $95 back in. Well, the $95 that I created out of thin air, yeah, it's almost hard to fathom how fast you can make money out of thin air by doing it this way. Well, that's the point. Doug, you nailed it. It's beneficial for the government. But it's not for the government, because if you think about it, does the government, if they create 100 trillion more dollars overnight, how much more do they get paid? Well, nothing. Their cost of living increases are built into their salaries, and every few years they piss us off by upping their salary, but it doesn't really make them any money. But what it does do is it gives all of the companies that bribe them off the books, and lobby them and give them money for their campaigns and then promise to hire them at 100 times what their actual value is worth once they leave office. Yeah, add all that in, and it's the corporations that own our company, that own our country. Those are the ones who make all that money. So yeah, they're just, you have to understand. Well, they've got thin coins you break apart, but I wouldn't break them apart unless you had to. You have to understand something about the United States. We were built as a country of principles, and those principles were about freedom, about fairness, about justice, about a lot of things. Over the last 100 years, we have been convinced to walk away, completely walk away from those principles, and instead rely on personalities. The prettiest people always get what they want. If you're beautiful, you're right. If you're glib, you're cool. If you don't necessarily contribute anything to anyone's life at all, but you're entertaining, you can become the wealthiest among us. Look at the Kardashians. What are they? Nothing. It's a group of nothing. It's just not really a nationalist, because I believe that a country that's run on principles instead of personalities has the ability, especially something like someone like this country. We have the ability to absolutely destroy, and I mean destroy, dictatorships around the world. Like these guys in Africa who just absolutely destroy their economies and steal billions of dollars. We can wipe them off the face of the earth forever, but not the way that most people think. I'll give you an example. I was at a very shishi grocery store in my neighborhood. And it's, there's the normal grocery stores, and then there's the nice ones, and then there are the ones that are gourmet, everything, $35, $40 a pound steaks, that kind of thing. Well, they have a deli that they set up, and every day that they have the hot deli, but it's not, it's not meatballs. It's things like, charred Brussels sprouts and salmon, buttered salmon with truffles and and filet and shit like that. And a lot of rich people come in and they just grab a couple $100 worth, and that way they don't have to cook dinner. I rolled in there. It was fairly late, and as I walked in, I noticed that there were a few things left. There were some of the big steel tins were empty. Whatever they were, they must have been the hot shit of the day, because they were gone. But I did notice, the salmon. There was probably 20 pounds of salmon, and I'd say maybe 5 pounds of New York strip or New York steaks, and then some Brussels sprouts and a couple of other things. Some candied yams. And I looked at it and I said, "Man, you guys are closing up pretty soon." The guy looks at me and he goes, "Uh-huh." And I said, "Are you going to throw that salmon away?" And he goes, "I have to, man." I said, "Fuck, man, there's got to be 20 pounds of really good looking salmon fillets in there." And he picks it up and he goes, 10, maybe 15. I was like, what are you getting for that today?" He goes, he said something like $25 a pound. And I said, "So you're literally throwing away $400 worth of salmon?" He goes, "Well, yeah, I mean, we're not allowed to keep it." And I said, "Well, what about giving it to somebody who can feed it to the homeless?" He goes, "No, the city Scottsdale doesn't allow that." And I said, "So you're going to throw away all that steak, You're going to throw away all that salmon. You're going to throw away all those Brussels sprouts. And he goes, yeah. And I said, well, I'm going to take a couple pounds of those Brussels sprouts and I'm going to take at least 4 of those big salmon fillets myself because they're already cooked. They're ready to go. My son got out of his class and I was like, bro, we're eating in the truck. And we did. And it was so good. I mean, it's a gourmet place. My point is, the average American throws away 4.5 pounds of food every day. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, no. That's bullshit. That's way too much. Like, there's no way. I don't do that. No, I know. I'm not saying that you do. Remember, I said average. But that factors in all of the restaurants, all of the hotels who have buffets. Think about it. I was in Panera Bread, and they were closing. I just got in there in time to order something, and I went into Panera and I said, "Hey, what are you guys doing with all this bread at the end of the night?" And he goes, "Oh, we throw it away." And I was like, "The hell you do?" "Oh, all right. I'll be waiting out back, buddy." And he goes, I'm sorry, man, I can't. We have to actually lock the garbage cans. And I said, "You lock them?" He goes, "Yeah, we got to padlock them." And I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because the city doesn't want anybody to eat this stuff." And I said, "Okay, so wait a minute. I can eat this right now, but 10 minutes from now, nobody's allowed to touch it." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm sorry, man, but that's just, it's county health regulations." And I thought to myself, Elon Musk can put 1,000 satellites in orbit, Starlink, and you can get 1 gig per second internet in the fucking Amazon. I can literally get Skylink at the top of Mount Everest. But we can't figure out how to take all of this food and give it to somebody. Yeah. See, that's the thing. How do you remove the liability? Well, you remove the liability. Now, does that make me a Democrat because I dream about feeding the homeless and the poor? And by the way, if it were up to me, I would take some of that shit and I would give it to people in jail. Yeah, you know why? Because I don't want people in jail to just sit there and rot and dream about all the shit they're going to get into the day they get out. If they've got to go to jail, I want them. Look, you got to show me something, brother. You don't get out without some kind of education. Show me what you can do. And by the way, while you're in there and you're going to classes and you're improving yourself and you're getting your shit together so that you don't have to rob a fucking 7-Eleven, well, while you're doing that, I'm actually going to feed you something good. I'm going to give you something good. That might be somebody else's leftovers, but guess what? Who cares? I'm not going to feed you slop. I'm going to treat you like a human. And when you get out, by God, you better act like a human. That's it. Russia has less crime by far than we do. Russia? Yeah. Well, what do they do with their prisoners? Oh, they train them how to be bakers and how to sew and how to work leather. And they do all kinds of shit with their prisoners all the time. Constant vocational training. Why? Why do they do that? So that when you get out, you have hope. That's it. Give these fuckers a chance. Just give them a chance. Look, I send a guy to jail, and all he does is strut around with his chest stuck out, trying to get respect. Respect for what? Because I'll kick your ass. I'm tougher than you. Okay, what else are you? Well, I'm illiterate, and I have no job skills. Oh, okay. You're illiterate, you have no job skills, and the most important thing in your life is respect? Oh, where does that fucking road end? That's pretty obvious. since there is literally no one on earth who can respect you. Not even a little child of your own could respect you. They may love you, but what is there to respect? You're a useless lump of meat. You suck energy out of our system. So, what do we do with you? Well, let's see. Beat you down, tell you that you're worthless because of your race or your background or the where you grew up or your religion or well, how about this? How about we train you to do something? That's just a thought. Well, that's a fact. You treat them like animals, and that's exactly what we do. Well, that's another problem, and that's where when people say, "Well, you're a Democrat." I mean, look at you, fucking bleeding heart tree hugger. Yeah, absolutely. I am a bleeding heart tree hugger. How can I not be as a Christian? Now, do I think that the government should be your big sugar mama and let you enjoy the big teat of tax life? No. No, 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 no. Red states get it all fucked up because the requirements are just idiotic. Like, okay, you're going to pay a huge amount of taxes, but you're not going to pay any taxes. We're just going to give you everything you ever wanted. What do you mean? Well, I remember a guy moving to Portland. He moved from like Kentucky or someplace. It was one of for me, a flyover state. But they asked him, "Why'd you move here?" And he said, "Oh, easy." Because he was homeless in the state he came from, and he's homeless there. He said, "Oh, I heard about the fact that they give you $1,600 a month on a debit card, and then they also give you a cell phone. And if you're sober, which I'm not, but if you're sober, you get to live in a hotel for free." So I moved out here. And the guy said, "Clearly that's not true, though, is it?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah, it is." He holds up his cell phone and he digs through his pocket. He holds up his credit card and he goes, "No, it's true. They did it." And I thought, whoa. Well, now that's the craziest thing I've ever heard, Julie. You don't understand how someone can be Democrat and believe in Jesus. All right, let's just take a little mental detour here. Do you think that Jesus wanted people to be billionaires while other people starve to death right in front of them? Do you think that Jesus would have been excited to see that there are people who literally make billions of dollars and then don't share any of it? Or they actually go out of their way to hire really, really, really well trained professionals so that they can avoid helping others. See? A Democrat. That's funny. Everybody says shit like this. "Oh, you must be MAGA as fuck, man. Are you a Democrat?" See, here's the problem. I break it all down. I break it all down. You can't pigeonhole me. You can't put me in a corner. Nobody puts baby in a corner. So you can't say, "Well, you're obviously this." Well, you might say it after you hear me say one thing, but give me 20 minutes and you're going to be like, "Whoa, wait a minute. This guy must be MAGA." No, it's called common sense. It's called common sense. Do you think Jesus Christ would have been a great businessman, a titan of industry, cutting costs everywhere he could, especially when it comes to employees? Fuck them. Fuck the employees. Who gives a shit about employees? No, he would have been a terrible businessman. Because what did he say? He literally said, "Give everything you own away to the poor and follow me." That's crazy. He literally told a guy who came to him. Now, I know you're going to say, well, that was a parable. He didn't mean that. Oh, Jesus didn't mean what he said. So he's an asshole. He's just full of shit. He just says shit to just hear his own voice. No, everything in the Bible is the word of God, directly from God. Okay, all right, let's just assume that that's true. And Jesus told this guy, honor your mother and father. Yes, I do that. I swear. Okay, good. Honor the Sabbath. Yes, good. I do that. Okay. Follow the 10 commandments. Yep, I do that. Okay, good. Give everything you own away to the poor and follow me. And the man walked away, discouraged. And then the disciples said unto Jesus, well, he is very sad because he has much. And Jesus said, remember this, because you can't lawyer your way around this, that a camel will pass more easily through the eye of a needle than a rich man into heaven. Now, what does he mean by that? Well, that's got to be a metaphor. No, that's not a metaphor. Jesus is saying that you cannot be an enormously wealthy Christian. That is physically impossible. You either love thy neighbor and you help thy neighbor, especially, what's the one class that he singled out? Doug, don't give me that bullshit. That's so stupid, man. That is so dumb. I've heard that 100 times. They didn't call it the eye of the needle when he was alive. That was made up 500 years later. God, that's so sad. Come on, man. Look, if you don't have the balls to be a Christian, just be honest and say, no, I don't want to be a good Christian. I don't want to be a good Christian. I want to be selfish. I want everything for myself. I want my life to be about me and what I want. Nobody's going to knock you down about that, dude. Nobody's going to tear you down about that. That's a whole fucking country that we live in now. I mean, literally, that's the country we live in. Everybody in this country is about themselves and about what they can get. Take. I don't have any principles, but I'm cool. Oh, yeah, I got 1 million hits on that. Why? What'd you do? Oh, I was super rude to this dude. I burned him. It was awesome. Everybody loved it. I made 10 grand. Yeah, but come on. You got to use a little common sense. You have to use a little common sense. Okay? So when Jesus says that a camel will pass more easily through the eye of a needle, clearly what he's saying is it's impossible. Well, it's actually, now that I think about it, if you use the right geometry, it's possible. I mean, it's not probable. The odds are about 275 to 1, but it could be done. No. So obvious, man. So obvious. What did Jesus own? I mean, for fuck's sake, his life was literally his mission statement acted out in reality. What's my mission statement? To love, to teach, to own nothing, to give everything I can, physically, verbally, spiritually, everything. And then, as a final act, my body. I will give everything I own. Shel Silverstein, The Giving Tree, a perfect example. Like, what else can I do for you? That's love. What else can I do for you? We've already done so much. Doesn't matter. It's not enough. Well, what's enough? I don't know. There may not be enough. There may not be enough that I can possibly do for the people I love. Why? I don't fucking know. It's love. Love doesn't make sense. But love is the only thing that we have. It's proof of God. So doesn't have to make sense to me. You see, the thing about this with all of the details, well, he rose from the dead, he didn't rise from the he saw Mary and they were ecstatic. He saw them, they were terrified. He walked around, he came over to the United States and hung out with the Mormons. I mean, look, none of that shit matters to me. Okay. He turned water into wine. Okay. Well, if that's what you need to put in that book to convince the dummies, great. I don't need magic. As a matter of fact, magic is actually going to hurt your case. It's not going to help your case. Because what I studied that made me become a Christian was, what did he teach? Well, what if someday we find out that he was actually a man and that he died? That won't affect me at all. Zero. Because what he taught was clearly what God wants. So again, it has nothing to do with the messenger. Yeah, but the messenger is the most important part. No, it's not. The messenger is irrelevant. That's the whole fucking point. Why do you think he said something crazy like, "You'll do greater miracles than I"? What? I will? Like me? Yeah. Yeah, or you. Well, how? I don't know how. That's between you and God. Go figure it out. I mean, the first thing I would say is you should probably ask, because if you've never asked, well, then there you have it. You don't get an answer unless you ask the question. So if you sat down one night and said, "Geez, God, what could I do to make the world a better place?" Well, geez, there's just so many so many things. What can you do? See, this is true. That's the whole point. And you know, do I like the Catholic Church? Well, I get it. I mean, I get it. It's pomp and circumstance. Everybody loves a party. And so, okay, let's make this big thing around all these statues and all this gold and silver and big marble buildings. And because that's God. No, not really. I mean, it's not. It's a bunch of buildings and a bunch of old farts and some very expensive clothing sitting on some very expensive furniture. Does that mean that it doesn't work? Well, I mean, it does work. There's a fucking billion of them. Okay, well, if there's a billion of them running around, they must work. Okay, so do I think that all Catholics are exemplary? No. Do I think that there are a lot of good Catholics out there? Yes. And do I think they're good because they're Catholics? Yeah. Yeah. They actually took all this Sunday school shit seriously. They were raised with it. And so they have this sort of core understanding. Now, are they hardcore religious do-gooders like Mormons? Some of them are, yeah. But overall, they're good people. They have a moral compass. They have a baseline of knowing what's right and what's wrong. And in this world right now, that is extremely critical. Because right now, more than any other time in history, we are facing evil on a scale that is industrial, and it's planetary. It's an evil that has never been able to exist before. And what I mean by that is, a lot of people think that evil, and I used to believe this too. That evil could only exist if somebody actually got joy from harming others, from doing bad, evil, hurtful things. If that brought them joy, yeah, absolutely. Tom cracked me up. Yeah, that's exactly right. Oops. Whoa. But when I say accumulating silver, it's accumulating enough to survive. Now, if you want to buy 100,000 ounces from me, okay, do whatever you're going to do with it. That's up to you. Am I going to get to the point where I want to be a billionaire? No, I don't want to be a billionaire. Don't want to be a billionaire at all. I want to have enough money that I don't have to worry about paying the bills next month, but that's being affluent. That's very different. That's very different than being rich. Being rich, I mean, what's rich? Well, I think we can agree that $100 million is rich. Now, is $1 million rich? Not necessarily. If you live in Manhattan, it's enough, but you might still actually have to keep working because your condo might have costed more than that. So it. But I think we can all agree that 50 million's rich. So when you get to $100 million and you decide that it's time to kick it into overdrive because you're not going out like some kind of sissy, half-assed, jackass loser, and you can make it to a billion if you try hard enough, it's like, what? My goal before I start giving it away, 65. Well, I mean, if you live in Idaho, 3 million is probably pretty rich. It really is. I mean, again, it depends. Affluence is this. The definition of affluence is if your passive income exceeds your monthly overhead. So if you're on Social Security and your Social Security is $2,000 a month, but your house is paid for, you own your car, everything, you don't have a lot of drugs and a lot of health problems, then you're affluent. Crazy, right? You get up in the morning, do what you want. Fuck, maybe get up in the afternoon. Nobody's telling you when to get up. You got nothing to worry about. Every month, the amount of money coming in covers all your costs. Now, if you want to go on a vacation and it's kind of expensive, well, you might want to figure out how to make a little extra money. But my point is affluence. Now, I'll give you an example. When I was married and I was living in the biggest house I've owned, in that very exclusive golf place, Whisper Rock, when I lived there, my overhead, just my basic overhead, was over $20,000 a month. 10,000 for my mortgage. I spent 3,600 a month on my electric bill because 10,000 square foot house. What do you expect? I had my wife's car was $1,000 a month. My Suburban was 1,200 a month. Cost me 100 grand. I didn't put any money down. So I mean, you look at that and you're like, whoa, 20 grand a month just to get by. I mean, I wasn't just getting by, obviously. It was a very nice place. Would I do that again? No, absolutely not. Absolutely fucking not. There is no way. Would I live in a 10,000 square foot house? It's not the size of the house. If all of my kids came to me and they said, "Hey, Dad, let's all live together," all of us? Yep, all of us. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to get a bigger house. Would I do that? Sure, of course I would. Family's everything. Yeah, exactly. 11,000 square feet. I mean, think about it. Cleaning it. I had three cleaning ladies. Okay, three cleaning ladies and one lady who did all the other shit like laundry and whatnot and organized stuff. But I had three cleaning ladies that came twice a week, and it was $300 each time they came. What the fuck? Yeah, no shit, I would. Haunted is not my gig. No, no, not for the dollar. There will be for silver. Absolutely. Absolutely 100%. I guarantee you because 23 states now have passed laws that say that gold and silver can be used for all debts, public and private. They are, and they use the term legal tender. 23 states. So obviously the states are starting to get this feeling like, hey, the federal government is really, really trying to fuck us. And we're not going to let that happen. Good. They shouldn't. Florida is definitely one of them. Utah's gone way beyond everybody else. They're saying that they want to make it so that you can walk into a store and buy anything anywhere with silver and gold. Okay, well, that's kind of cool. Well, it doesn't matter. If they're lying to us, Jay, it doesn't matter. You know why? Because you know what it's worth, and I know what it's worth. Anywhere in the world, that's what it's worth. So when the government says, hey, man, you can't use anything but your central bank digital currency. Oh, so you're saying this isn't money, even though it says in the Constitution, this is the only form of money, gold and silver, as legal tender in the form of coinage. It literally says that. Okay, but the government's saying, well, yes, it's legal tender according to the Constitution, but you can't use it to buy and sell. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, I'm not going to buy or sell anything with it, but I'll trade you. Oh, that's barter. That's different. Yeah. It's why in so many states you don't get taxed when you buy silver, because in most states already, this is considered money. So if you give me American dollars, which are shit toilet paper that go down in value, and I give you these, there can't be any tax. We're trading money for money. It's that simple. Yeah, the U.S. Constitution is upheld as toilet paper. Yeah, but the good news is, if you have silver and they say, oh, well, you can't buy anything with it. All right, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to trade it for stuff. Well, you're not allowed to barter. What? Like, when did any government in history ever say anything that fucking dumb? You can't control that. You cannot control barter. Hey, look, man, I got this. You want that? Yeah. Hey, I got a chainsaw. You want to trade me for that lawnmower? Yeah, I got a lot of trees. I don't have any grass. That's a good swap. Oh, well, is that a taxable event? No. I just traded him one thing for another. Oh. Okay. Well, there you go. Shit, that's easy. Well, of course they did in Maryland, unfortunately. It's it's Maryland. So everybody's talking right now about how silver is going to explode. B of A just said, okay, look, we said 100 and they said $306 by the end of the year. They're saying, okay, because of all the turmoil, we're resetting it. We're saying $155 within the next 6 months. Okay, that's exactly what I said, so I agree with them. I said 150. They're saying 155. For some reason, they always come out about $5 higher than I come out with my analysis, but whatever. Hey, we're so close. This is B of A's private banking, not B of A, the shitheads. B of A, the private bank that only deals with billionaires. So their analysis is actually good. Silver to 200 in June. Nope. What about 1933 with gold? It's possible, but it's not probable. It's possible, but it's not probable. More than anything, they just revalue. They have 261 million ounces of gold already. Shit, just revalue it to 25 grand and you're even. Oh yeah, the Middle East and Russia are trading missiles. That's odd. When you say trading missiles, One would believe that you mean that they're actually shooting at each other, and let's pray to God that that is not happening. Because if that's happening, you don't even have time to buy silver anymore. But let's see. Now, by the way, when he said that, that could mean that they're simply actually trading back and forth, which that would actually make a lot of sense. That makes more sense than anything else. Okay, I don't see anything on here. Nothing. Um, oh, that's too bad. Ben Sass. I don't remember anything bad about him, and he's dying of cancer. That sucks. Um, let's see. How is gold still valued at $35 an ounce? It's not. It's valued at 42. um, yeah, I don't see anything about any kind of crazy shit going on in the Middle East. Ukraine marks 40 years since Chernobyl disaster. Well, that's got to piss them off. Oh yeah, remember when those fucking Russians came and built that power plant and then it blew up and they basically killed everything? God only knows how many people actually died because of that. You know, I mean, let's see, Israeli strikes kill 14 in Lebanon. Yeah, but who cares? They're just Lebanese Christians. It's not like Christians care about Christians being killed. How do we fix the Iran situation? Declare victory and leave. And it still won't be fixed because the reality is that I'm afraid we have woken a sleeping giant. And that is what Admiral Yamamoto said the day of Pearl Harbor. And even though he was for the invasion of Pearl Harbor, the attack, but yeah, the reality is that we put them in a position where we didn't just threaten them economically, like pushing them around, being the bullies that we normally are. What we did was we actually threatened them as Persians. You know, the thing is, if somebody invaded the United States and they came onto the East Coast in South Carolina or North Carolina, almost instantly Democrats and Republicans would be united in the cause. Whoever the fuck just invaded our country is about to find out. They fucked around, now they find out. And that's just the way it would be. Would it matter if you're a Protestant or a Catholic? Nope, not at all. So we just put them in a position where several thousand years of being Persians together was threatened. We threatened them as a civilization. Now, some people say Trump's a genius and he's playing 5D chess. There is no explanation that makes that 5D chess. Every logical explanation makes that the dumbest fucking thing a president has ever put out into the public, ever, in history. Because not only is it a fucking war crime, not only did it absolutely stun the rest of the world that we would say something that fucking stupid, or that we would make a claim that is no longer, hey guys, you'll be sorry. It's, we will annihilate your civilization. We're not fighting a war for whatever it was, 100 kilos of enriched uranium. We're not fighting a war for that anymore. We are now fighting an existential war for the existence of Persians. Almost 100 million of them. Shia, Sunni, Christians, Jews, they're all Persians. Now, were they Christian Persians? Yes. Were they Jewish Persians? Uh-huh. Shia or Sunni Persians? Uh-huh. What are they now? Persians. You can't possibly solidify a civilization more quickly than to say that you're going to kill them all. Kill them all. Let God sort them out. Well, that is that kind of stupidity doesn't make any sense to me at all. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. But I'm just a guy who could have told you the Strait of Hormuz is a choke point. It's a choke point that you can't possibly pry open. It's not like the jaws of a dragon. That opening is all there is. And maybe 100 years from now, we can saw the entire tip of Oman off. But in the meantime, that tiny little narrow channel, that's all there is. You literally just made them realize that they are completely in control of that space. And then unless we are willing to commit hundreds of thousands of troops, hundreds of thousands of troops, they have 100 million people. They have an army that is absolutely, completely, and utterly foaming at the fucking mouth right now to get their hands on some Americans. Well, anybody named Fiat Pop, come on. If you're driving a Fiat 500 Pop, you probably weren't in the Marine Corps. You probably weren't a master combat swimmer. You've probably never seen anybody die, and you're just going off of what Rachel Madcow told you. So, butt out. Here's my point. We can't win that situation. We can't. Now, the question is, first of all, let's define what win is. Can we take over Iraq? Yeah. Yeah. They hate us. They don't hate us. They hate the government. Man, I have a fucking hard time understanding. They hate us. Do you really think that the average Persian walking down the street says, all Americans are the same? No. The average Persian walking down the street says, I don't know why the United States government is so up Israel's backside. You don't think they know that Israel is controlling this? You think they're that stupid? You really think that they're like, what? Just big monobrow caveman. We hate them. They hate us. You really think that? You don't know any fucking Persians, do you? I've had Persian business partners. Persians aren't stupid. They're extremely, and they're not Arab. They're extremely educated. It's a very sophisticated society. They don't hate us. They don't even hate Israel. They hate the government of Israel. They hate the Haredi ultra-Orthodox Jews for pushing this war. But they're not stupid. So, do they walk around going, we hate Americans? No. Now, do the mullahs pay them to go out and protest and say, death to America, death to Israel? Yeah, some of them. Is that how they all feel? No. No. I know exactly what they want. Most of my not Iranian pagan. Fiat, you are not making any fucking sense. Persians meaning what? Zoroastrian? Is that what you're saying? Well, no, because true Persians are Zoroastrians. Yeah, okay, that's true. Because Zoroastrianism was way before Judaism and way before Christianity. And they're the first monotheistic religion. And it was born in Persia. Yeah. It's sad when somebody gets on here and thinks they know me. The IRGC, interesting guys. Oh, I got limited for another 10 minutes for visibility for being miserable. I'm not supposed to be nasty. It's crazy. Well, so much for Molly. You can say goodbye to Molly. Well, obviously, if I was a Marine, blue crayons. It's my favorite. Blue tastes good. Oh God, Naftali Bennett and Yair Lapid merge parties for Israel election. Oh, it's going to get ugly in Israel. Well, it's already ugly there. There's a lot of people in Israel there's a lot of Jews who are extremely angry about this. They don't want this shit either. The difference between your average Reformed Ashkenazi Jew walking down the street and your inbred Haredi, better than thou, I'm the only one that's been chosen, dreadlocks and no deodorant. Those people are very different from each other. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Monica is a rising star in your life. Monica, you're a rising star. I have no idea what that means. I don't know. Can you guys see these little things at the bottom of my screen? I can see them. Pretty sure you can see all the comments too, right? I'm going to invite you to follow me because I can't really see you. Your picture is like this big, but I can see you're a blonde. It's a good start. Now, if you're single, have a really high IQ and really bad taste in men, I'm in there. So you're saying I've got a shot. Oh, okay. So, I get it. So I can see some of the, but you guys can see the comments, right? Your comments. I hope. Persian civilization, awesome. Who does the eye control use? Who does the eye control us? How do they control us? Well, it's easy. The people that we send to Washington D.C. are all what's the word I'm looking for? Whores? No. Prostitutes. That's better. Prostitutes is better. Men and women of the night. That's classy. And APAC, which stands for Israel's going to jam so much money up your ass that it's going to be coming out of your nose if you do what you're told. It's an acronym. They control all of our senators and congressmen. Everybody has their own handler. It's shocking, but a lobbyist for Pfizer may handle 50 different people. A lobbyist for APAC has his own victim. Like literally every single APAC handler has their own senator or their own congressman, and they call them daily to make sure that they're on track to do what is in the best interest of Israel. constantly. Well, I'm not going to go so far as to say that they control our banking system or they control our media. Let's see, Google is Jewish. Facebook, Zuckerberg, yeah, it's Jewish. Uh, TikTok, Ellison, well, he's not Jewish. Oh, but wait, his adoptive parents are, and he gave $100 million to the IDF last year as a gift because, I would have, but when I found out he did, I was like, fuck it, yeah. I don't know about Amazon. Um, but let's see. Yeah, I mean, I can just go on and on and on. I don't know if Sam Altman is, but he's in charge of your AI. By the way, tomorrow is going to be an absolute fucking barn burner of a show. And the reason I say that is because tomorrow I'm going to be talking about some things that I've learned. Just jealous. Yeah, because you know what? Instead of being 6'7" and 300 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes, I'd rather be short, fat, inbred, smell like a dog's ass for a block, have weird little hairs that come down to my chin, and think I'm better than everybody else in the world. I do feel kind of left out. Really kind of shit on by humanity. Like, why didn't I get to be a Haredi? You know what? It's not too late. It's never too late. $7 o'clock ish. And I'm not saying 7 o'clock ish because I'm Jew-ish. I'm saying 7 o'clock ish because that's how we identify in California. Noon ish is lunchtime. Well, actually, it's breakfast, but it is a good look. See, that's what I'm saying. I do feel left out. Now, I'm not going to shower for the next 2 weeks. And then I'm going to come on here and I'm going to tell all of you how you're all less than human. It's true. Santa Cruz. I like Santa Cruz. I mean, some parts of Santa Cruz. It's still really expensive and there's a lot of crime, but you're close to Monterey. And I love the Monterey Bay Aquarium. How dare you, John? You don't see? And by the way, just in case you're wondering, if you cut these, it says this in Leviticus. If you cut these hairs, you must be put to death. You know that, right? Like, we're not fucking around here. Oh my God. Guys, I just came up with a new piece of my live stream. Yes, we're going to call it The Devil's. How many of you are there? Oh, wow. Nobody now because everybody jumped, but okay, there were a few people. You should split the screen. TT comments on here. What? I thought I did that. Oh, shit. I thought you guys could see the chats. Okay, I'll do that tomorrow.